Καλησπέρα σε όλους σας, Konstantinos Giaouzos εδώ πέρα και σήμερα σας έχω ένα πολύ διαφορετικό βίντεο. Σήμερα είναι το πρώτο interview που θα κάνω στο κανάλι. Αυτό το βίντεο είναι ένα follow-up από το βίντεο που είχα κάνει για την Bondora. Σήμερα έχω εδώ πέρα κοντά μου τον Matt, ο οποίος είναι, μισό λεπτό να δω τι είναι. Ο Matt είναι ο Head of Investor Relations στο Bondora. Hello Matt, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you today?
I'm very good. So, Matt, first of all, I want you to talk to us a little bit about Bondora. Why do you think it's a very good opportunity for people to join? Yeah, so that's my first question.
Sure. I mean, for anyone who doesn't know anything about Bondora, we have existed actually for the past 11 years. So we might be seen as a startup, but we're one of the oldest peer-to-peer lending platforms in the world. And we offer investments in unsecured personal loans, and that's all we do. We are specialists in that, and that's what we're the best in. So one of the reasons why you should invest with Bondora, if you're not already, is one, we are simple and straightforward to use. You don't have to have any experience, investing in stocks, in real estate, in bonds or anything at all. It's really straightforward to get started, which is a huge barrier to entry for most people when they want to invest. And second, as I said before, we have a really long track record of 11 years, which gives investors a lot of trust. So, and we do have a lot of choice on the platform as well. So if you are more experienced in investing, then there's some more higher level options which are available to you, all the way to developing your own program and connecting to our API.
So basically, you are doing one thing and you do it very well, right?
Exactly that. And we're leaders in choice in the way that you can actually invest with us as well. So yeah.
Great. So as I told my audience in the last video, you are probably the best option for beginners to invest in something. But how are investments taxed, especially here in Greece? I don't know how much you know, but
yeah, you're probably going to be disappointed with this answer, to be honest, because yeah.
So just talk me in general how the investments are taxed.
I mean, we have investors from 85 different countries around the world, so it's quite difficult for us to give a generalized tax overview of how your specific peer-to-peer investments are taxed, because there's no unified regulation even within Europe about how they're taxed. So it's not something that I can develop on or give advice on, but what we've done to help with this, on the Bondora platform, you can customize your tax reports based on the fields which are required by your local tax office. So once you speak with your local tax advisor or someone in the know like yourself who may have multiple investments across different platforms, you can actually add the specific fields which are required by your local tax authority, rather than printing off a standard statement and then sending it back to you and saying, no, this is missing, that is missing. So that's what we've done to proactively help with that. But yeah, unfortunately, I can't really develop on that.
So basically, every country is different rules, exactly. Different regulations, stuff like that.
Exactly, and I genuinely hope one day it'll be a unified regulation, because it would make it so much easier for everyone. So
well, I hope that too. Okay, let's go to a much simpler question. What is the minimum recommended investment? And is there any recommended investment? I don't know.
Well, I'd say it totally depends on your strategy and what you're actually investing for in the first place. The barrier to entry with Bondora, the minimum investment that you have is €1, which means everyone can start, right? Everyone has €1 somewhere. So recommending how much you should start with, it again depends on, are you investing for a short-term goal? Are you investing to save for a holiday in 12 months time? So you need a liquid investment. Are you investing for the next 5, 10, 20 years with a long outlook on the capital growth? Are you investing for the passive income each month, to replace your monthly salary or your expenses? So that really depends on you, and I'd say the best thing to start with is to focus on how much of your income you can, as a percentage, say 10%, for example, 10% of your income each month. can you put that into an investment which you can afford to put there and still pay your bills and still enjoy your life as well, and try that. That's usually across the industry a good place to start, 10% of your salary.
Okay, so 10% roughly above from your salary, yes?
Other than that, yeah.
Next question. What if Bondora disappears tomorrow? How likely is that? I know you've been 11 years, you've been running 11 years, but...
It's a fair question, and it's actually one that all investors should consider when they invest anywhere. You know, what is the longevity of this platform? How long will they exist for? Is my money safe? And the direct answer to that is, if Bondora went bankrupt tomorrow, basically an administrator would come in to take over the active investments and loans. No further investments or loans would be issued, but they would then come in to take over the active and manage the payments from there. And the way that's done as well is because the money is kept on a segregated account with a large international bank, so it's not essentially kept on Bondora accounts, it's kept in a bank's accounts, which is segregated from Bondora. So they would come in, they would take over the payments and the active management, and continue from there.
Is this yeah?
You said how likely, and of course I'm going to say extremely unlikely scenario, based on a profitable company and an 11-year track record. So, yeah.
All right. So everything you said, is this a guarantee, basically?
There is no guarantee. There is no guarantee. Yeah, you can't, unless you have this backing of the National Central Bank or the European Central Bank, where you have an official guarantee by some kind of financial services compensation scheme, then usually within peer-to-peer, there is no guarantee on the funds, which investors should be aware of as well.
All right. But based on the track record and stuff like that, highly unlikely.
Yes, and you can look at financial statements as well. Look at if the company is making a profit year after year. We've been making a profit since the second half of 2017. So
yeah, and I think everything is available on the website, right?
Absolutely.
All right.
But financial performance. Yeah.
Good. All right. So a more advanced question: can people actually put collateral for a loan?
Yeah. So with us, all the loans are unsecured personal loans. Now, that means that we don't assess a security like a house or a car against it. But what many people don't know is actually, despite it being an unsecured loan, in the event that that borrower defaults on their payments, the bailiff still has the right to freeze the borrower's income and assets to retrieve the cash flow back to investors, which is an interesting point. And that's despite it being an unsecured loan. If you look at the average net return on Bondora, I can tell you, give me 1 second, what this is, just to give you some specific figures while I'm on the phone here. The average net return across Bondora is 10.6%, and it's been roughly between this 10 and 15% since inception. So the likelihood of you getting a negative return on your portfolio is extremely unlikely. The cases where we see that this happens most frequently, where someone gets a negative net return, is where people will try and trade on the secondary market, which is extremely manual investing. So they will either buy loans themselves and then try and sell them. So they'll buy them at a discount, try and sell them at a premium, which can obviously result in a negative strategy, so in a negative net return. But for those just investing, it's important to note that you will have defaults in your portfolio if you're investing via Portfolio Manager, Portfolio Pro. But defaults and risks are two different things. So defaults are expected, right? They're planned for before. And what's important is that the remaining part of the portfolio, the interest rate that you're receiving on that, compensates for the amount that has defaulted. All right. So yeah, because many people can be worried and see some defaults and try and sell everything. But yeah, peer-to-peer investing in the traditional sense, for example, our products Portfolio Manager and Portfolio Pro, is a long-term investment.
Okay, so we shouldn't get worried about that, right?
You should be aware of it, but yeah, it's not a cause for concern because defaults are expected within the portfolio for sure.
Okay, that that brings me to my next question. So, is there a guarantee that I'm not going to lose my money?
Like I said, we cannot give any guarantees, and it's important that customers are aware of that, because any kind of guarantee in this industry, without actual backing of a huge balance sheet behind it, is not really a valid promise. So, yeah. But what we do...
How likely is it then?
Yeah, it totally depends on your strategy that you have in place, like the percentage of defaults that you have. If you have an ultra-conservative strategy, then your defaults are going to be lower, but your net return is going to be lower. Mm-hmm. If you have, a risky or opportunistic strategy, your defaults are going to be higher, but your net return is going to be higher as well. But we have a 3-step process in place if a borrower defaults on their payment. And a really quick summary of that is the first step is we try and contact them in-house. We send them emails, text messages, everything to try and recover that money ourselves. The second is that then that case is then filed to the courts, and once they agree a positive decision for the case with Bondora, it then moves towards the bailiff stage. And as I said before, the bailiffs then have the right to retrieve that money from the borrower to bring the cash flow back to investors. So it's a simple, straightforward 3-step process.
Okay, very nice. I think I'm covered. But I want to ask you a very general question. So, what would you say are the top 3 reasons somebody should invest in Bondora? So, as a last statement, let's say, for those that are still not convinced or are scared, or
Okay.
Because I saw a lot of skepticism and cynicism, I might say, on the Greek community. So that's why.
And what were the main objections for that? What were the main?
All of those questions were part of the objection. Things like questions like who are they? Why am I? All the questions I asked you.
Yeah. So
concerns.
Yeah. So if it's more about concerns of the platform itself, so we publish all of our data publicly. Every single transaction on Bondora is published publicly on our website and updated daily, which means that this is available for everyone. You don't even have to have an account to view it, which means it's available for regulators. And that data is audited by some of the biggest accounting firms in the world as well. Like I said before, the 11-year track record gives people a lot of confidence as well. The 60,000 investors and the 200 million invested. But a benefit of the actual platform itself, like rather than talking about reasons why someone may be skeptical of it, but actually a benefit of the platform, on top of what I've already said around choice, is if you really value your time. Because often, it's not always taken into consideration with investments. If you have to spend 2 hours, 3 hours a day researching company accounts to invest in stocks, or going to view properties to see if they're suitable investments, this is a lot of your time which you could be spending on either your own personal interest, your education, earning extra income, your family, anything. So with Bondora, and especially with Go and Grow, which I'm sure you know about as well, you literally click a button, you deposit, you get the interest into your account daily, and you can take it out at any time, right? And that, with a 6.75% interest rate, is pretty much unheard of within the industry. Even if you look at the average returns of stock markets over the past 20 to 50 years per year.
And I think that is the main reason why everybody was very skeptical, because of the great percentage that it offers.
Yeah, and especially if you're comparing it to your local banks, banks pay 0.1%, 1% maximum. So, but I think with existing investors, they see the amount that we've generated consistently over the past 11 years. And this is why we're confident that we can offer this target return of 6.75% and keep our promise on that. There is always a risk, of course, which people should be aware of, but we believe that we can deliver on this to investors, and we will continue to. So yeah, to summarize, if you really value your time and you don't want to get into all the complexities, but you still want a great return on your investments, Bondora is the option for you.
I couldn't say it better. Okay, great. Thank you very much, Matt. I'm very appreciative of your time. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, no. It was my pleasure. Οπότε, παιδιά, αυτό ήταν για σήμερα. Ελπίζω να σας κάλυψε εδώ πέρα ο Matt. Σας ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ που είδατε αυτό το βίντεο. Ελπίζω να σας λύσαμε όλες τις απορίες. Το link για να κάνετε εγγραφή είναι από κάτω. Για εσάς που είστε λίγο πιο σκεπτικοί και όλα αυτά, ελπίζω να σας κάλυψαμε όλες εδώ πέρα τις απορίες. Once again, thank you very much, Matt. Have a great one.
Thank you. Bye.